Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear. Looks like it.
That is always the question that I don't know, forever don't know the for sure answer to.
We're just going to start right now, and if it shuts off, we will just use the GoPro angle until we figure that out.
No one will be none the wiser.
Nobody will know.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Massenomics Podcast. I am Tyler. Joined with me finally is
Welcome back.
I'm back. Tommy. Tommy is, what's the catchphrase again?
Locked and loaded.
We've missed that.
Just been waiting to say that for weeks now.
Tommy's been off on his ventures, and Tanner is still here.
Hey, I'm still here.
We never.
I don't get to go anywhere.
We didn't get rid of Tanner yet. So this week we are going to basically just pick Tommy's brain about where the hell he's been and what he's been doing. Tommy, break down what type of drugs you've been doing.
Well, I've gone to the far reaches of the upper Midwest. And
Furthest reaches.
maybe even almost west, you could say. And I've also made a little journey to the Southwest, too. And I guess it started... We're going 3 weeks now. I just feel so out of the Massenomics world. Like I just see stuff happening, and I'm like, there's my
I guess we didn't tell you yet. We're rich now.
Oh, that happened
rich,
while I was gone finally?
We finally got rich.
I think the key ingredient was removing Tommy from the equation.
Yeah.
And then
people literally we're sending us checks in the mail. I'm not sure what for or what we have to do in return.
Me and Tanner are married, and it's been a real test of our faithfulness.
But you guys probably have health insurance with each
all the
other
ladies.
now.
Yeah, we're
Right.
Massenomics now pays for our health insurance.
Yeah, I have been out of the loop.
Could we do that? Could we get like a company health insurance plan? Because
Guess
my
so,
CrossFit gym that I
yeah.
own does not have one.
I think you can. I think you can get on a group. We need Sean's because he.
Well, would he know or just hate the idea of it?
He would just hate it.
He would be angry
He'd
at
be
everything.
like, health insurance sucks.
Yeah.
You guys should just go to the doctor when you die.
Everyone.
So no, Tommy, you went on like some serious vacation.
Yeah,
How many days have you worked in the last 20 days?
Well, like maybe 5. And that's really weird for me to say because I'm the guy that I usually try to get like a good vacation, but a lot of times it just ends up being like a Friday here, a Monday here.
Yeah.
It's never these extended things, but with it all started when it took like 5 days off and then got back, and then it was like the 4th of July, so that was already a week that was short by like some time, and then I took another day off and then got back and there was like another week off. So it just really snowballed.
So where'd you go first?
So first I took off to Glacier National Park in Montana.
Based upon the pictures I saw, Glacier National Park is fucking Narnia.
A green screen. Yeah.
It is.
It's basically a fake place.
Yeah, and that's really what it looks like. Like you routinely take pictures, and I mean, you guys saw them, and it's just like you kind of look at it, you're like, it looks fake. Like no one's gonna. It's like we could literally just find like some touristy spot, take the same picture, and people be like, yeah, it's the same thing. But no, I highly recommend it if anyone gets a chance to go to Glacier. The car ride out there from where we're at is
How long?
Well, we broke it up into 2
hours.
parts. Yeah, it's actually where we went was closer to 18.
Yeah.
And we went halfway the first day, Miles City, Montana. Well, about halfway. We went 8 hours.
The Windy City.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Big Apple.
And then after that, it was just getting all the way to the national
the
park.
Rising Sun, Miles City, Montana.
That's right. I did some great catch-up work on podcasts, though. I don't know if you guys have got to listen to S-Town yet, but...
Oh, yeah.
What is that? I do not know.
Oh,
man.
It's from the creators of...
Cereal.
Cereal.
From the creators of Cereal and This
Is
American
it
Life.
tell me.
Okay.
Oh, I've actually I'm really glad. I've meant to and forgotten to bring up S-Town.
And I have to mention this now because I think I'm in a pretty exclusive group when I say this, is that I have listened to S-Town twice.
Really?
We got my girlfriend's parents going on it on another car ride that happened a week later, and they couldn't stop listening to it, so I ended up just listening to the whole thing twice. But
synopsis. Break it down for me.
Well, did you listen to Serial at all?
No.
Okay, because it has nothing to do with that.
Good.
Yeah, so that's
because I can't start things that
really it's just a 7-part series.
Hour
each.
45 minutes to an hour each.
I like that.
So it's not too hard to digest. And it starts with there's this guy in the middle of he calls
Alabama.
it
True story?
Yes, this is true story.
It's called S-Town because he calls it Shit Town.
Yeah.
God.
So
He lives in Shit
he's
Town.
kind of your more progressive, really out there, forward thinking
He's like
hillbilly
a
in a way.
genius almost. And he hates his surroundings.
He hates everything
How
about where he's
How
at.
is the narrative told?
It's
Is it
so it happens because
reporter?
this guy calls this journalist in New York and says, "I think there's a murder a murder happened down here, and the rich people of this town are covering it up." And he kind of keeps going on and on with it for like a year.
a big like police cover up. And
Finally, he talks the journalist into coming down there, and it just turns into this whole other thing where you realize that this guy is like the mad scientist living in the woods of Alabama. And you could not write this story and make it into a movie because people are like, well, yeah, that was a good fantasy show you just like wrote. Like it's so out there.
So we don't
but
want to give
true.
any spoilers, but I already want to watch it or listen to it.
Yeah.
It's really good. I would recommend it. Like I loved it. To date, it is my favorite podcast.
You
behind
really,
Massenomics.
Right, behind Massenomics. You finish each episode like really wondering what's going to go on the next episode.
Yeah.
And that's
And
that's what makes
fortunately,
it so
because
good, I
it's
think.
2017, you can just then listen to the next episode. Like,
Instead of waiting a
this
week.
is why I don't with like Game of Thrones. I
Yeah.
will not watch an episode of Game of Thrones
Until the
whole
run.
season is done. I'll bite down on the urge,
Well-
and I will watch all of it in 2 of the saddest days where it's like it's gross. It's just me in the house and the lights are off, and
Yeah.
I'll watch for 11 hours straight.
I'm going
Game
to
of
take that
Thrones.
to the next level and just wait till the entire series is done and
then
then
you're gonna
shut
jump
myself
in?
off
You've
for a
never
month.
watched it?
I've actually seen a little over a season of it,
Okay.
and it's just I've always been in times in my life where
It's
I'm
just too many wieners. Yeah, it's too many wieners. I can't.
Question about that, one of you guys might know, Hafthor Bjornsson, friend of the podcast.
Yes.
Someone
I
told me.
touched him once. Did you guys ever touch
You
him?
did
I touched
definitely
him. It was
touch
pretty
him.
But I mean, you're up to speed on Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay, and you're not, but I won't say anything that's gonna spoil it here. But
Okay.
like, the Mountain,
Yep.
you know how now he's always wearing that helmet. Mm-hmm. I heard that it is not no longer.
Actually, him.
Yeah,
That
that
would
they
make sense.
didn't want to pay him and they just got somebody else.
just another tall man.
Yeah, but
would make sense.
But he still Hafthor posts things like related to Game of Thrones,
And he refers to himself as the mountain.
I mean, everyone does, but
Yeah.
I just wondered if I don't know if that's fact or fiction, but
I also think it's interesting. Like, he is enormous and is awesome and strong in things, but it's weird that he's mostly known as the mountain, which actually, from an acting standpoint on the show,
is the
it's
least
like,
acting
well,
anyone's ever
like
done.
literally, I bet he has how much scene does he have? Like, how many minutes on screen does he have where you can see his face? Like 3 total
Rarely,
at the
yeah.
most of screen time, and doesn't say anything. There's the one fight scene that's like a minute and a half long with him and the dude.
Yeah.
And that's like cool, but it's like not even that cool. And then that's it.
And then they put the
And
helmet
then he's
on him, and
he's
you
just
never even really see his face
a
again.
fucking human statue with the helmet on, and that's it.
Yeah.
But he's like fucking super famous for that,
Really big time.
and I mean deservedly so, I guess.
But
I mean,
his strongman accomplishments are actually a
in
little
my
bit cooler
opinion,
than
are
that.
like a lot more earned than that. Like,
Yeah.
like I would like his strongman. The shameful thing is that like, as a strongman competitor, the amount of work that goes into that and like what he's accomplished should make you $5 million.
Yeah.
But that probably makes him
Couple $100,000.
maybe, yeah, maybe. And but like he's like, I don't know, I just kind of was on this thing like briefly, and now I make $5 million every year as long as they're still showing it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
star power.
But someone let me know, is Hafthor Bjornsson truly the man behind the mask anymore?
No,
or is
yeah.
it just some... Because I heard they just found somebody they could pay a lot less and be like, all right, here you go, you're the mountain.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
They should do that with like the next Batman movie. Just like no Affleck, just have like
They should quit making Batman movies with different Batmans. Like, how many times... Like when we're 60, are they going to be on like the 12th different
well, look
Batman?
at James Bond. I mean, they'll just keep
Yeah,
that, they'll
that's
just
true.
keep that
There was
going
nothing
forever.
wrong with Christian Bale Batman.
No.
Did Christian Bale not want to do Batman anymore? Was that the deal?
Well, I feel like that.
What about
segment of the
George
story-
Clooney?
We don't talk about
George Clooney was Batman.
That was the nipple costumes, George
Yeah, the one
Clooney
with the-
Batman.
yeah.
Is that when Arnold was Mr. Freeze?
I believe so.
Yes.
Uma Thurman
the
was
era.
Poison Ivy. Danny
Yeah.
DeVito was.
Was
the-
Jim
No,
Carrey was
DeVito would have been in the
the Penguin? Was
the Penguin was with fucking old what's his ass Michael Keaton.
yeah, Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah.
that was the
okay,
Tim
yep,
Burton
yep.
stuff.
What about when Jim Carrey was the Mask?
He was the Mask. Also the
Riddler.
Riddler.
Yeah. Kind of the same character.
Actually, guys, I want to sidetrack from our
Our seven sidetracks.
our Tommy's
Whatever we were
vacation
talking- Oh, yeah,
to
that's
S Town to Game of Thrones to The Mask, and I want to talk about
Smoking.
Favorite Jim Carrey movies?
This is The Mask related. I saw The Mask, and I don't remember on what it was, but I forgot.
Probably a VHS.
I forgot how hot Cameron Diaz was in The Mask, and that still holds up.
Really?
What about There's Something About Mary?
Nothing compared to her in The Mask. Her in The Mask. That's it.
Didn't even know she was in that movie.
Really?
To be honest,
Oh,
I
dude.
probably haven't seen it since I was in like third
I
grade.
don't even
though.
know if I can pull it up here. Not in a timely enough manner, I'm afraid. But yeah, Cameron Diaz in The Mask. That's on my top 10, I think, for sure.
Do you have a favorite?
Mainly because I think I was maybe like 11, 12 years
That's
old
when
when
you
that movie
discovered
came out.
what women
I think
were.
I became a man as soon as I saw Cameron Diaz in The Mask.
You're like, you did
but
it, God.
I forgot that was a thing. I thought Cameron Diaz was whoever Cameron Diaz is and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, she's nice. She seems pretty. And then that came out. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That shit changed my life.
Do you have a favorite line from The Mask?
No.
I only know one. Smoke it.
Yeah, I've got one other one. He goes, P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta.
Tanner, that sucks. Okay, so we're gonna back all the way back through S-Town seems cool, Game of Thrones, who knows, and we're back to Tommy's driving, and go.
Okay, drove in a
17-hour
car.
drive,
Very long
broke it up
time.
twice. You just left the Windy City
The
of
windy
Miles
city
Montana.
of Miles City, and then we
City by the Bay.
continued on our majestic journey to the far reaches of Montana, nearly Canada. I think we were about half hour from Canada, right in there. So we were getting up there. But we stayed in the park. The thing you learn in a hurry is in Glacier, bears are a real problem. Like it is posted everywhere. They recommend you don't go anywhere without bear spray, which I had never heard of before this. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with bear spray?
Carry it with me all the time.
Dan Bell uses that, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's the same thing that those guys on Instagram know. It's basically pepper spray for bears, and they charge you like $45 for a canister of it, but it's kind of a necessity out in the okay.
That's how distracting Cameron Diaz in The Mask is. Go ahead, so bear spray?
Yeah, so bear spray. So you got to get it's highly recommended you carry a canister of that on.
Now,
you.
is it a big, like, aggressive
We're
canister?
talking. It almost looks like a tiny little fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and it's
Just a little red
I think
thing.
it sprays like a fire. It's like bear mace.
Yeah, it is bear mace is what it is, and so you got to get one of those. And of course, you don't see a bear, so then you just spend that money
Save
and you
it
can't
for when
return it.
Tyler's around.
But Glacier, it's a lot to take in. The mountains are just huge. You kind of can't wrap your head around how big this stuff is because being where we live, you never see anything bigger than like a 3-story building. So
Right.
We have 2 5-story buildings in town. 2.
yeah,
Federal building or?
Oh, that's the 6.
I
Actually,
don't know
no,
if that's
actually,
5
actually, I think
five
all
stories.
3 are 6. Actually,
Okay.
Federal Building 6, I know that, and the Ward Hotel and the Citizens Building are all 6 stories.
wow,
Metropolis. Anyway, so
yeah, skyline.
we are the worst at getting through a story.
Yeah.
So giant mountains, bears.
So yeah, we did that. Glacier was sweet. If we just went on some crazy hikes.
Did you even
canoeing?
lift? Did you even lift?
We did. I did not do any lifting during that trip. We did a little canoeing.
Were you
I
canoeing
feel
or
like
were you
it was a
kayaking?
kayak.
Yeah,
You know, I
okay.
feel like you put me on the
Ooh.
back of a kayak. The thrust I
How-
can get going on that thing. You can just.
How do you feel on tandem kayaks? Any opinion after that?
You know, that was my first time, and I didn't. It seemed to go fine.
Yeah.
Is there something I?
Oh, a lot of people say that's a good way to get divorced.
Yeah.
Is to go on a tandem
I
kayak.
feel like though, if I'm on my own kayak, that's also a good way for me to end up
like
in the
just
water.
mad. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, just in the water. Like, have you ever gone kayaking?
Yeah, I've done tandem and solo both.
How do you like? It took me some doing to just be able to stay upright, like at all. And I think it's a top heavy thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
gotta
there's a
be.
lot of me that's above the center of gravity, which means things. I like a boat goes by 100 yards away, and a little wave hits, and I'm fucking upside down.
Yeah.
So when I see those people who like go off a waterfall, and,
Going crazy.
I haven't done kayaking like that.
well,
like,
no,
I mean,
no,
just
no.
like-
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah.
But I can't even float.
No,
really,
yeah.
You know.
And it's a hell of like a shoulder and back workout. Like
Yeah, but this one wasn't too bad because the lake we were on, there was
'Cause
you're
Leah
in the
did
mountains
most of the
and there's
rowing for you?
zero current of any kind. It's just like the water's like stagnant and there's no boats or anything. So, like you want to go one way, like 3 good paddles and you'll like
You'll
coast
coast,
even.
yeah.
So that was pretty good.
So
But
did you make Leah do all the paddling? So
yeah,
you could
most
rest
of it.
up?
I'm like, I gotta take pictures, so you gotta
I
take
have a
us
camera
around
here, and don't you fucking dare dump us.
Yeah.
so you had your camera with
I
you
had my
on
camera in the
were
kayak.
You, was there any
Really?
nervousness about that?
No, I also had my phone on me too. So
Jesus.
So you're like,
I was
"Yeah,
like,
if we
yeah,
go down,
we-
I'm all.
we go down.
Have
There's just
you-
like $3,000 worth of gear.
Have you done any kayaking before?
I had been in one before.
Okay, I have been in kayaks about 30 times, and 35 times I've ended up in the water.
Oh no, I was feeling pretty good.
I
about
wouldn't
this.
bring fucking like $1 bill with me because I'd just be afraid I'd get it wet. Like, there's no way I'd go kayaking with anything of value.
Getting in and out is the hardest. For
That
me.
was the hardest part.
Yeah.
There was a dock and a lady to help.
Yeah.
So that was key. Yeah.
So is that the highs of that trip?
So that was the highs. Well, and then from there we made our way to Missoula, Montana. Leah had a friend that lives there, so we got to spend 2 days with them and got to kind of check out downtown Missoula, which is a little kind of your mountain town scene sort of, and that was cool. Got back from there. I was back in town, I think 3 days. I headed back west again, another 5 hours to Rapid.
Did you get 3 lifting days in a row? in there?
I did. I think I did that week. I did 3 days in a row, which
Yeah.
kind of sucked. Went to Rapid. I was in Rapid for like 4 days, and then
The Black Hills of South
the
Dakota.
Black
for
Hills
those
of South
of you
Dakota.
that don't know.
Okay, have you guys? Or I'm curious. This is kind of like a thing coming around now. Have any of you guys done an escape room or seen or heard of these?
I know what they are.
I don't know what that
So this is kind of the new thing that's
is. That like
popping up.
Panic Room, the popular movie
It's
from
just like that.
2001?
You reenact it. Actually, not far from it. So basically, you go into a room, and it's like you have to have like clues on to like solve maybe a mystery that happened in the room or how to get out. And so I had my first escape room experience, which was based.
So it's like Saw.
Actually, yes, it kind
Yeah,
of
it's
is.
not
a
like
little-
Panic Room,
it
it's
is.
like Saw.
It is
Yeah,
a lot
only
like
you're
Saw.
hopefully not
yes.
going to get tortured.
Yeah,
in that.
only like when you get hot or you need to pee, you just leave the room anyway.
You're like, no, seriously, let me out.
Yeah.
Or like when it gets to be too much, a guy comes in like, are things going okay in here still? So, but
Does it get like intense or what?
well, it's just like, damn it, why are we so stupid? Why can't we figure this out? Like,
so what do you?
I need
explain
to know.
it. You mean like you can't get out of the room unless
No,
you figure out a
so
puzzle?
this
or
is
like,
what
I don't get it?
there's a bunch of different ones, and
Okay.
they all have. Most of them are like you're trying to solve a mystery, and you're just in a room. It
Okay.
happens to be, but like I think the genre of this thing is called escape room. So for this, it was you were solving. It was called like Ghosts of the Black Hills, and so there was this lady. It was they kind of give you like the preface to the story.
Like, is it an actor or someone on a TV screen telling you this?
No,
or
like
what?
it's the guy that works there. He's like, all right,
Oh.
so this is what happens here. And so he'll tell you about how.
He's wearing like a Megadeth T-shirt. And doesn't give a
I
shit.
mean, it's not far from that.
Like, yeah, so there's Ghost in it.
Yeah, like after he walked away, I'm like, you couldn't have put like a little more like
Pizzazz, like,
emphasis
yeah.
into
Get a
like how you were
little,
telling your story.
old timey about it.
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, I'd be like, and here,
Yeah.
and there, yeah, the story of the Black Forest ham.
Tommy DeFay and the Mystery of the Black Forest Ham.
But he kind of gives you like the build up to the story, and then he's like, all right, and for this story, I would start by looking in the jewelry box. And he leaves the room, and
Okay.
you hit the timer on the bed to see like how long. So you're in a bedroom, and it's supposedly where this lady died, and like you open up the jewelry box, and you're like tearing it apart, and then you find stuffed into the side. There's this little piece of paper, and it's like it was a note from the lady that died, and she's like, I hope they never look here. Like, it's like if you're reading this, you need to look. It was like basically like baiting you with clues.
Yeah.
So then you look in this other spot and you find this number, It's like, okay, and then that number kind of will tell you to another thing. Then all of a sudden you have this pile of numbers. Well, there's a safe in the corner. So then, like, you're trying to figure out, like, what combination the numbers go in. You get into the safe, and then it gives you, like, the person, or it has, like, a heat gun to detect ghosts. And then you're, like, using the heat gun, and you find a hot thing in the room, and that's, like, another clue. And then you just keep doing these clues until you solve this mystery. And
That sounds awesome.
it was kind of,
That
it's
sounds
a fun way to spend an
Yeah.
hour and a half, you know?
Is that how long it takes?
Well, the timer's for an
Depends.
hour. It should only take an hour. It took us closer to an hour and a half.
I've seen like people do them and stuff, and I was torn. I was like, that either could be really cool,
Yeah, it depends on how it's
Well,
done.
you kind of start to get
Or-
stressed at times,
Yeah.
like, why is this taking so
Yeah.
long? Like,
or I'd be like, this is fucking stupid. I need to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it kind of feels like you're in like a little video game, though. Like if you give up the fact that I'll be in fantasy land.
I suppose
for
you
an hour.
you have to fully buy in, or it's not going to be.
Yeah.
If you're like, this is kind of lame.
Or like, what person would leave so many numbers laying around?
Yeah, you could have just in the first note told me what the combination of the safe is.
Yeah.
So what
So-
about your spelunking?
So okay, yeah, I got to try that. Oh yeah, and then that same trip, there is. We'll do a little history lesson here.
All right, I
There
like it.
in the Black Hills of South Dakota, there is a lake called Pactola. Pactola
It's a rhyme.
is created.
This is a song.
It's a haiku. In Pactola, it's created because of a dammed creek,
They
river,
flooded
whatever.
a valley.
Yeah, did you guys know there's a whole town underneath there?
Completely underwater.
There's a whole city of Pactola.
So people go scuba diving
Yes.
there. That's like a great spot for scuba diving training
They
because
say you can follow the road right in,
Yeah,
and it's
really.
it's about 130 feet
and
down.
there's still some buildings sort of there and structures kind of there, whatever's left. But yeah, they just fucking dammed this and just flooded this whole valley.
Yeah.
Fucked the whole town.
Did they let the people know first? Or
No,
did
it
They had
was-
about 10 minutes notice.
Yeah, it was mass
No, I actually
Jesus.
don't.
that
I don't
was-
have any idea how that went
So
down.
that was kind of like, oh brother, where art thou?
It's where they came up with that story.
Yeah.
Probably.
But while we're out there, there is, we're going around, and because we are like in the mountains, and this is a national forest, so there's no cabins on it, which is kind of a nice change of scenery to not see a lake completely surrounded in cabins. And
It's actually interesting out there because here every lake is houses all around it.
Yeah.
And out there, there's not a lake that I know within about 50 or 60 miles out there that has a house on it.
Yeah,
Like
you actually
if
feel like you're
if you
outdoors.
sold docks or boat lifts out there, you wouldn't even sell one. And there's a lot of fucking lakes out there.
Yeah. So we got to cruise around on the lake, and after you go kind of back through these windy parts far enough, you kind of come to an area where there's a lot of people just like hanging out and cliff jumping, and it's a spot where people can hike into. So if you don't have a boat, you can still get to enjoy the lake. And we pull up right away, and there's like this. I'm told it's around 35, 40 feet is how tall this cliff is, kind of depending on the water level. And I see people up there jumping, and at this point, I had several beverages in my body, and I'm like, a guy my size does not need to be like climbing up rocks, trying to jump down, like do
You had
this
to
whole
climb
thing.
up that thing?
Yeah, you had to climb around the side, which when I say climb around the side, I mean walk on loose
Okay.
gravel
It's a hill.
on a steep
Yeah.
hill. Yeah. But I'm just like, I'm not doing that. That's not my thing. And my girlfriend's sister, she jumped up there twice and just did it like no
She
problem.
jumped off of there.
Twice.
too.
Like she ran up right away, like in front of all these people. I'm like, yeah, that's I'm not
How
doing
many
that.
people were jumping off of it? Like, was there a lot of people watching
Well,
and few people
so
jumping
and
off
this
of
is
it?
this is actually probably what adds to it more than anything is that the area you get to is like a kind of a little, you could call it a bay or a cove where a lot of boats park, and because it's a 4th of July weekend, there's even more boats than normal. So when we got there the first time, I would say in that area, like watching you, there was probably between 35 and 50 boats, and then when you think each one of those has anywhere to 5 to 10 people on it, it's like there's a lot of people watching you, and so that's.
So you get up there, it's like, don't be a pussy.
Oh yeah, all eyes are every time someone's jumping. It's like all eyes are kind of headed that way.
You go to Tommy's Instagram and watch it because it. To
It's
me, watching
so
it, I
high
was
up there.
like just watching you. I was like, oh no, like don't do that. You're gonna die. Like, there's no like that would hurt no matter what happened. I feel like there
Yeah.
would be some pain involved in that. How high was that? Did they say?
So I think it's between 35 and 40.
okay,
It's right in there.
and it looks like 100.
Yeah,
To me,
And I bet it
might
looks
have
like 500 from the top.
it's hard to say though, because when you're up there. So anyways, this is what happens is the
When
first
you're up there,
day,
you're drunk, so it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
the first day I blow it off. Nope, not doing it. The next day we go to the lake again. It's a little earlier in the day, not as many boats, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. So I'm telling Leah's sister, I'm like, I'll do it again if you go up there, because I'm like, I don't want to walk by myself. I'll just probably slip and fall and look like an idiot. So
I need you to hold my hand.
yeah. So talk her into going up there. We get there, you look over the edge, and because you're in this mountain area, the water's so clear that you can see down, and there's rocks right below you. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fall on that thing, and I haven't seen anybody that weighs over 200 pounds jump off this, so I'm gonna be the guy that hit the bottom.
Yeah, because you're gonna sink deeper.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But she's like, no, you just got to jump out past that, and it's like, okay. So
yeah, that's up to me.
Yeah, so it's like I'm looking over the edge, and then we just walk back like 5 feet. I'm like, well, can't really think about it. So then I just got like 3 good steps and gave it a jump and hit the water, and you get in. And I went down far enough that when I gave it a kick with my foot, I did hit one of the rocks, which wasn't bad because I just barely caught it with the edge of my toe. I had this tiny little nick on my left foot. No big deal. Come up, and then you're like, oh yeah, kind of, being like an idiot. I have my arms out like this, so they slap the water hard.
Yeah, it kind of looked like you're going like this.
Yeah, oh yeah, like you start turning the crank when you're up because you don't know what to do with your arms. It's so scary. Yeah. And from my snowboarding days, that was the thing. It's like you'd get in the air, like when you first getting used to going off jumps, and you're not used to just holding yourself in the air. You feel like you got to straighten yourself out. So everyone, the first time they start hitting jumps, is doing this whole thing, just spinning their arms. Trying to, but then once you get more used to like your body awareness and control, you can just go and do whatever. But I definitely was not used to being up 40 feet. So I was swinging my arms everywhere and hit the water, get on the boat. And, you kind of have the thing where it's like, my legs got kind of slapped. My arms got kind of slapped. And I'm sitting there and I look at my right heel and it's bleeding pretty bad. And I think, because I don't think my right foot hit the rocks. So I think just the way I hit, just like the impact split my heel open.
No shit.
So that was mildly annoying.
I would be so worried that if I jumped, like you'd get turned around in air and like you're just gonna do a belly flop and die. Just like.
I mean, that'd be hard to do. Yeah. I suppose anything's possible, but
I worry most about because I could stumble just walking into my kitchen. So I would worry about what if I fuck up the step?
Right. That is the biggest thing.
Because you go all right, I'm gonna go right, left, and jump right and jump off the left. So instead you go right and you stumble and you get to your knee and you're like, whoa, and you just roll right off the edge and you fall and you just fucking die. Yeah.
That is the biggest thing.
Like a dry landing.
That one clean step you need. That's all you need is one good step.
On the video, I heard I could hear people talking as you jumped, and I thought I heard them say you didn't jump that far away. Were they saying you didn't jump far or you did jump far?
That is what they said.
Because to me, I'm like, God, he got good. How are you going to jump farther
what type
away?
of expectations do they have of the average person?
I have no idea what they were.
500 some pounds. Tommy can jump far.
Right. So isn't that what they were saying though?
That is what they were saying, and I don't know if it's because they were at a different angle than we usually were, so they don't see how far out people actually go. But just to show how crazy some people are, though, there was a guy that ran up there. His buddies just had this. He was like a teenage kid. His buddies just had this crappy pontoon. They drop him off. He has his shoes and his shirt on and everything. Runs up there ahead of everyone. Takes off jumping and does a gainer, which is like a running backflip. Just does it. Drops right into the water. Hops on his buddy's boat and they drive away. Wow.
Someone has definitely been drunk or stoned and died. In that exact spot before, I would assume, right?
You have to
for sure.
Thousands of people don't jump off of that and not eventually have something.
I feel like there's not a lot of public staircases in which people haven't fallen and died.
Right.
You know what I mean? Definitely people died there.
Yeah.
Probably that weekend.
I mean, that's the weekend it's gonna happen. So that was that trip. And then I came back and I was in town for 2 whole days before I took off for sunny Las Vegas.
Did you lift?
I did not lift.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was your...
Well, I did manage to squeeze in some days, but not that week. That week I did not lift. And then I took off for Vegas. And the thing about Vegas in the middle of July...
Actually, what happens in Vegas?
I was going to tell you about the weather.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
That doesn't have to
The thing about the weather in Vegas in July is it's really, really hot. And it's
hot there in December.
Hotter than any of us were really ready for. And there was a point where we were walking one day and I thought we were going to die. And we just had to flag down a cab. And when he got us, he's like, yeah, it's pretty hot. My car says 120. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah, pretty hot.
Yeah.
That's when the pool doesn't even really do it. You almost need to be in the casino floor.
Yeah. But it's Vegas. I think Ryan drank a gallon of pina colada one day, and it's...
Speaking of Ryan, I believe it was the first night there. Ryan had an outfit that I could only describe.
Yeah, so Ryan bought a pair of white pants.
Tight. white pants.
Yeah, he bought a
Really white too, like bleached white.
They are white. It is white denim. He bought a pair
They
just
were,
to wear
they
to
were
Vegas.
denim?
It
I thought
was
they
denim.
were like polyester.
No, they were denim, and he bought those. And before we left, we had to run to Sioux Falls, and he went into a store and found this huge red, white, and blue American flag shirt. It just says USA very big down the middle. And he's like,
It almost looked like a 1965 like Olympic.
Oh yeah, it's Champion, which Champion is now kind of becoming trendy again. You know, like
it is.
like everyone in high school, or depending on what year you were in
Yeah.
high school, had just cloth Champion shorts. Like
Right.
Yeah.
now, those are at Urban Outfitters for like $40. Like, Shopko's been selling that for $10 for
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
years now. But so he had this Champion shirt. And of course, he was wearing his signature yellow glasses.
Yellow aviators.
And then to tie it all together, he had to tuck it in. And he definitely looked like he was visiting America from another country and was
Yeah.
having a lot of fun and had to let everyone know it. And we definitely, during that trip, there were several people that stopped us and asked us, like, where we were from and what team we were on, and we kept getting things, just when you see, like, because we had another buddy there that was pretty large. He's close to Ryan's size, and you get a few of us together and people want to know where you're from, what you're doing here, and
Right.
and what you do. So we had to answer those questions. But yeah,
We're
Vegas
here
is
to
Vegas.
fucking party.
And we did that. But yeah, Vegas is Vegas. I don't know if you guys have seen Top Golf. You guys familiar with that one?
Yeah.
It's the thing. It's kind of almost like a shooting range for golf.
Oh, I saw you. I've seen it on your Snapchat.
If you're interested in golf at all, I would recommend it. It's
Is
pretty
that
cool.
fun?
It is.
Looked like you spent some time there.
Yeah, we've got about 2 hours in.
Is it?
and they somehow they have some technology figured out that there's a tracker in the ball and it keeps track of where it lands, so you can play like games with, like, depending on where you hit the ball, it's worth so many points, and so you have teams where you play against each other.
Is it very expensive or just
Well,
moderately
because it's
expensive?
Vegas,
Everything's
we have a
expensive.
group
Yeah.
of people, so it's $125 an hour for the group. So 2 hours, you're at $250, and then there was a $300 drink and food minimum. So now you're
Jesus.
at $500 and some bucks. You tip.
So it's like, how many
tip-
people was there?
There was 7 of us. So when it was all said and done,
It's
you know,
like
tip and
still
everything.
Like $60 a
Yeah.
person.
No, we're closer to 100. But
Oh yeah, fuck.
I mean, if
that.
you're gonna go on vacation, you gotta do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then
you
I
can
returned.
buy beer at gas stations and take it into everywhere in Vegas.
Well, the funny
Can't
thing
you?
is at our pool, which isn't even like a pool with like a legit DJ or like a real party, mixers were $18. And Ryan first ordered one with an extra shot, just not knowing how much they were, and the guy was like, $24. Oh, what?
Yeah, when I went there. We went there a while back for my wife and I went and saw Deftones there, and we went in. This is for like our first wedding anniversary. So we went to the show. Sober, went into the show, and my
You'll pay for
my
that.
first drink was like $16 or $17
Yeah.
for a Morgan and Diet Coke
Yep.
in a full size red Solo cup. They fill it with ice. They use shot regulators, so you
Yeah.
get exactly
Yeah.
1 ounce of Captain Morgan, which in South Dakota, you order a Captain Morgan Coke, you get
That's
5
not even a
shots of
drink.
Captain
Right.
Morgan.
I think they would serve that to children.
Yeah, like probably in South Dakota. I don't even know.
I do to mine.
I don't even know if you have to be 21 to drink that. But no, and then fill it up with Diet Coke. And so, I'm not even kidding you. I had like 25 of those while I was there. So I spent like $300 or $400 on drinks at the concert. And I finally, I got fucking lit up. But then things got a little hazy, and we played a bunch of roulette. And I woke up the next morning, and I was like, oh, I remembered how many
Yeah.
drinks I had at the
Yeah.
concert,
It
and then
hit
I
you.
know that I stayed out till like 6 o'clock in the morning that we stayed up, and I was like, ready to go through my wallet. And what I
oh,
do
no.
is I take any ATM receipts or stuff like that. I just put them in my wallet with my cash, so I'm ready. And I go through, and I pulled out like $500 in cash, and there's no ATM receipts. Then I had my wife. I'm like, honey, I need you to look at the bank account, make sure I didn't take out any money last night. And she looks, she's like, no, there's nothing. I was like, it was like that scene in Rain Man with so I
seeing
recapped it
numbers.
with my buddy that was there, and he was like, no, you just you never won big, but it was just like you won $50. Then we'd leave, go to a different place. You won $80, and you won $100, and you'd won 20, and I just like fucking, I like was just dialed in on roulette. And it was just like, give it to me. Give it to me. And so I walked away, like I basically paid, like I didn't even really spend any money on that trip, basically. That was awesome. But if I would have spent that much money on one thing in Vegas, I'd have lost my shit.
Yeah.
It would have broke my little heart.
We went to party. That's what we did.
Came to party, baby.
Ryan said Brandon Allen was having an open gym while we were there, but
That
we,
was
we
true.
were, we
That
were in
was
no
correct.
condition to make it, so we missed out.
Filthy Power.
Did you,
Friend of the podcast.
And I ran into a remarkable number of people that I would say do not lift at all.
Did you run into many people that look like they do lift?
No,
Day after day?
I don't know if I saw a single person that I was like, yeah, they lift.
like when I was there, there was like a lot of people at the pool that were like the super weird jacked and tan.
No,
like,
not at our pool. I even
like
thought for sure,
a lot
yeah.
of lifting bros.
Yeah, I thought for sure we'd at least see some of those at the pool, and there was like
Some Jersey
none
Shore
of
types.
that. Yeah, there was none of that. So crazy world we live in.
So I want to know what is your morning situations like with a group like that in Vegas? Like, was it?
Well,
when did you
AM
guys?
doesn't exist.
When did you guys leave the hotel room in the morning?
This is the good thing is we did have a 3-bedroom suite. This was like, 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, which is awesome for 7 guys.
Yeah.
And because of that, everyone kind of had their own privacy. I think I was probably the first one up almost every day, and that was usually around like between 9 and 10. I think one day I did get up at 8:30, but the latest I slept was that one day we stayed up till around 5-ish. I think I slept till 10 that day, but I didn't go to Vegas to lay in bed. And usually one person wakes up, and like anything, that person wakes everyone up.
Oh yeah, I'm that
Yeah,
person.
that is the rules.
Did you ever have a hard time getting it going, like after on the third night or
There was,
anything like that?
actually for me it was the first day was probably the worst, staying up that late because we, with the time difference and everything, that means I was up for a full 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you kind of struggle through it, and you start playing some blackjack and winning. That turns things right around. You feel good from there.
You're like,
that's all it takes.
That's not what happens when I play blackjack.
Usually not me either. So I really had to ride that out. But
Wild.
that brings me back to Aberdeen. Beautiful.
Come full circle.
Here you are.
And it's like
Aberdeen.
100 degrees here.
And it's like 100 degrees. It's like nothing here, that you don't have like a blowtorch blowing in your face.
Cool 100.
Yeah. I tried to hop right back into lifting, like fairly high reps right away, and my legs were like, they were fighting me on that one. They wanted to cramp and give me a hard time, but powering through.
It's too much party.
Yeah.
So what about we got the calibrated plates. I teased a couple weeks ago that we are going to talk about this at some point in time, and that we're going to wait till you're back. So
Well,
I popped in there and saw them for the first
you've
time in
seen
person.
them?
Yeah, that's it's like a way bigger setup than I expected to
yeah.
see.
So how many total pounds is it, Tanner? So for people
over
that don't know,
1,000,
we
yeah.
do have the
Rogue.
Massenomics gym has the Rogue calibrated plate set.
yes,
the IPF approved.
IPF.
And so
approved.
the Rogue calibrated plate set, what does that get you, Tanner?
and we have the big set. It's the 459 kilogram set, which
It's
how
like
many?
10 million pounds.
I think it's over 1,000. It is 1,012 pounds. It's 7 sets of 25 kilo plates, which is like 800 pounds of just those.
Which we realize that means the inside plates on the rack will never be removed.
unless someone can like
Go for that 800-pound
yeah,
deadlift.
right. And then it's a set of 20 kilo, a set
Tanner,
of
you
15
got until this time next year.
to put 100 pounds on my one-time best ever, not on calibrated plates. A set of 20, a set of 15, set of 10, set of 5, set of... Then there's 3 little ones. It's a quarter. They're weird. It's like a quarter,
Yeah, and they're all like
a
chrome.
3/4, and a 1 1/4. I think is
Yeah.
the
They're
chrome little
super
ones.
pretty.
They are. And then on top of this, they're
Do they
all
ugly
on...
up?
What's that?
Do they like ugly up
Yeah,
and fade
chips.
out?
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They
And
don't, unfortunately. Like, I want to be
Yeah.
like, nobody used those.
Yeah, that's kind of. I guess
those
that's
aren't for using.
That's kind of not the point. I
Yeah,
guess.
right.
But they all fit nicely on this rack that they go on. And it's on wheels, and for being 1,000 pounds, it actually moves,
Yeah,
which is kind of the
I got to
impressive
give
part.
props for that Rogue. I can't remember what the hell that rack is called that they sell, but
That's
it's,
actually a bumper plate.
yeah,
rack.
that's what they advertised it at. But I had to ask them before I even ordered it. I was like, if I put
So that, do they recommend that? Or like, is that...
I had to ask them what their.
So it's not like on the website, like buy these plates and buy this to hold them?
No, but since we've had ours, I've actually seen other people on Instagram that have the exact same set and
Because
use
they
the,
copied us.
Well,
Basically.
Kaylor Woolham, at his gym, they just got Rogue calibrated
did they?
plates, and if you look, they put theirs on the exact
Really?
same rack that we use ours on. But I asked him, I was like, so is this says it's for bumper plates, so like bumper plates are
So but you know this. That's how you knew the diameter
Yeah,
was cool.
it was good, but I'm like, but
That's
that
also
means I'm
meant
going to
to
be able to
hold,
put like
400 pounds of bumpers at
Right.
the most.
And we're at 1,000 pounds, and you could fit a lot more. So I asked how that's going to be, and they said, well, it'll hold it just fine. It's made well. The wheels, maybe it won't roll very good with that, but because the wheels are optional.
And you kind of also expected that if it got weird, they just wouldn't have the wheels.
Yeah, I would
you
just take
put
the
it
It's
wheels
on.
like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's 1,000 pounds. If you can't really move it, I think that's to be understood.
But
Yeah, you just park it.
It works great with the wheels.
Yeah,
like
you
you have to put your weight into it to move it, but it rolls very.
It moves easier than I would expect 1,000 pounds to move.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice. You can wheel it around to wherever you're using it.
Yeah. Didn't you say Ross even had his little fort built the other
Yeah,
day?
because our chalk bowl is also on wheels. So he was over in the bench corner and he set up a fort where around the bench press
a wall
yeah.
of calibrated plates, chalk, and nose
Yeah.
torque.
So we also got the Rogue Ohio power bar, the IPF approved 20 kilo power bar. Everyone's been.
Tyler,
testing that.
have you got to touch that?
I have not lifted in Massenomics since I started my CrossFit gym.
Well, it is. First of all, it's a beautiful bar.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like pretty factor. It takes the cake out of anything in the
Yeah.
gym. Like because it has the black. I don't even know what you call the center part of the bar. Just the barbell.
Yeah, that has that finish on it.
Yeah,
so
it's black, and it's not like a super high gloss black. It's just a good looking black. The collar, it's the collar, right?
Yeah.
The collar is extra thin
Thin,
to accommodate
yeah.
more plates to go on it, in these competitions, and that's weird to look at because like the Texas Power Bars we have, it's
Really thick.
thicker
4
than-
times as thick or so, yeah.
So it's really weird to see how thin that is, but then that gives it a very long sleeve, which even the sleeve looks strange how long that is.
Yeah.
And I think is it even maybe a little longer than a normal
I think
barbell?
I think the total length is the same, but it
Okay.
just it looks longer
The-
because
just-
the
there's
sleeves are
more
so
just that
long.
functional
smaller collar.
sleeve because
Yeah.
the collar's smaller.
Right.
Yeah, and then the knurling is like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
the knurling-
aggressive for.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because we're so
knurling-
used to these bars break like a
The
broken in
knurling
bar.
on the Rogue, like Ohio bar, like the Olympic lifting bar,
Yeah.
their regular Ohio bar is way too aggressive for my fucking vibe. Like I used one. The guy I trained with had one and brought it around for a while. I'm like, it's a good quality bar, but that shit fucking just fucked my hands
I
up
could
all
see
the
how
time. I was
Olympic
like,
lifting
yeah, I
might-
mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to be like pulling and hook gripping and fucking cleaning and shit off of that thing. Off of
Right.
just with what that knurling
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Obviously, that bar is not meant for any of that, but that knurling is super aggressive, and I can't imagine on that thing.
It is very aggressive.
It is. I still think it's maybe a notch or two below the Oki bar.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, we're talking about a bar that's a bar that's known for its knurling.
Yeah.
But like that bar too, with the caliber, it's really meant for singles.
Yeah.
So you're not up there. You're really not meant. It's not meant to be knocking out sets
But yeah,
of 10.
and I don't count it as a knock at all on the bar. Like I
No,
think
I like it. Yeah,
it is an
that's- yeah.
amazing. And then for the money, like what are we talking? Like $280 or
I think that the 20 kilo IPF approved one's a little more expensive, and I think it might be $300.
okay, but still, when you look at
Still pretty
IPF
good.
approved bars, your other choices like an Eleco, like
$1,000.
$1,000 bar, like
700, 800. Yeah.
Is that bar 500? Is it bar 3 times better?
I don't think so.
I think the only difference is like the Eleco has like the lifetime guarantee on
Yeah.
everything. Like you'll never have to buy another bar to fill in that purpose.
Yeah.
That'd be the only difference. But
Yeah.
Rogue also like does stand behind their shit. I don't know what
Yeah.
the warranty is on that, but if it gives you any grief, I know they'll just like send you one.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I see happening in this bar is eventually, after years of use, that knurling is going to get
Yeah,
chewed up.
right.
But-
Well, or like it just bends from Tanner's
from
1,400
getting all
pound
those,
deadlift.
that deadlift is just going to keep jumping
1,400
100
pounds
pounds.
sumo deadlift.
Yeah.
Ryan and I did do the 1,100 pound tandem
You did.
deadlift, and now we
You
have
could-
the
you
more
could
calibrated
really-
plates.
you
We
could
could go
really
for
up
more
that now.
because we had it using the 50 kilo plates and the hundreds. Like that's basically all we could fit. The
Yeah.
collars were
Oh, yeah,
falling
it was
off.
full.
So
And even
now-
then, the collars were barely staying on.
right. So now with all those calibrated 25s, we could really
And you guys are
Yeah.
both stronger.
Yeah.
So
might as well
Yeah.
do 2,000 then.
Sky's the limit.
Let's
So-
stop at 1,000.
Once you start getting these calibrated plates going, though, it's different in a few ways. One is because you can't take I think a lot of people do the 135, 185,
225, yeah.
225, or even just the 45-pound jumps, but
Yeah.
that completely goes out the window. And there's not like really a clean way to hit that,
Right.
Because at a lot of weights, you're where with this you're just basically 25s in a plate. Like here you're talking, you could have like 3 or 4 extra weights on there to try and hit that. So the first day I tried,
I would just do the, what are they, 55? Is that what? I'd just go 55. I'd be like,
yeah,
So it's
warm.
like,
So that's what I found out the first day. I'm like, damn, like this takes a lot of extra work to do this. And then like if you have the kilo plates or the kilo clips, and that's another thing too, is the Rogue set does not come with the kilo
right.
clips.
As far as I know, they still don't produce.
They do. I found them on the site. They're actually they're pretty cool looking.
Okay.
But
How much are they?
is it $250 for the set? It's somewhere in there. But we're lucky enough that we have
the Ivanko ones.
The Ivanko ones.
They're
you
probably
said
more expensive.
$250
for 2 of them.
Yeah.
Or for the pair.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
That's as much as the bar.
Yeah, the Ivanko ones that we were lucky to be able to buy them used, so I think I paid maybe $60 for them, but I think they're like $300 for something new too.
Yeah, that's
shit.
like market. That's like standard market pricing from what I could tell.
That's crazy.
That still is maybe even on the low end compared to a lot of people.
That hurts my feelings.
The Ivanko ones are working right now too.
So this is the
Were
thing
they
then.
not
So
working?
Not quite.
well, this
like,
was I didn't we got the plates, and there's a few things of this now is that I can't say I'm completely right, but I feel like I'm correct on this. Is there's a lot of people that don't know how to properly load plates in a kilo plate. And the way I understand it is that the first plate, the label should always be inside.
Yep.
And then every plate after that, the label should be out. So you should never have just flat paint on any side. It should always be labels out.
Yep.
I thought it was the other. I thought the first one. I thought all of them were in except for the last one.
Nope. You should always see
the
labels.
bar, you see all the labels. Like if you have like 4 different,
Okay.
you see all the labels on all of them. But the first one, you're saying inside, right? So
Inside,
you see the labels
you
from the
see
inside.
faces
so you see it from
label
the inside.
in.
Yeah.
And then
And
all
then,
of them
so all
are,
of the other ones are
Our
out.
label out.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's what I've thought too.
which is how because otherwise, even between attempts and stuff, people would potentially have to take that plate off and turn it around. Then,
Right, right.
So that's why I think that they all stack out from there. So I've seen some guys, and I'm sure no one cares about this, and it makes zero difference. But I've seen some guys already doing the things where you just have the plates sandwiched together, where you can't read the labels on any sides of them.
Yeah.
Which totally ruins the style factor of those things.
That's
you got to be showing off what we're working with there.
Yep. Otherwise,
gotta
it
see
just
the
looks like a
label
red
on
blob.
both.
Yep, you got to
Yeah.
see, and then even when you're working down to smaller plates, you should see the label on every single plate,
Right.
facing out.
Right.
Loud and proud with those things. But when it comes to loading the bar, also the plates are a much snugger fit than any Texas Power bar, any Oki deadlift bar with any combination of 45s you have. Like these things were like it's like a tight fit. Like the paint on the inside of the weight was like coming off on the bar was such a snug fit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. The whole
the
yes,
paint,
it is
the
a very
inside
tight
hole
fit.
of the plate,
Yeah,
the paint was rubbing off.
There's
on
no play there
on the
Yeah.
sleeve of the.
Like requires lubricant.
Damn near, yeah.
I mean, it's not something you slide off with a hand. Like you have to make an effort to grab it evenly and pull it straight.
So now do you feel for all the work that
It's
Yeah.
I mean,
plate loaders have to do?
yeah. So then when you have that now, when you're using the kilo plate or when you're using the kilo collars, I didn't realize until I was doing a little research that you can actually once you get those on, you push them on, you spin the screw, whatever you call it, to get it as tight as you can, and then I didn't realize that the actual collars themselves kind of have a locking mechanism in them too, where they spin
Once
apart.
you tighten it on, and then you can
And so
tighten it towards
I
the
think-
plates.
plate.
Yeah,
and I think the theory behind that is like, especially in Olympic lifting, like you don't want any energy being transferred between like the plates and the bar to the lifter. So that's how that is supposed to be properly loaded. is
it works too.
in there,
when you do
and
that,
then tighten down.
When you tighten that, it really like locks those in there where there's
because already with that you can get it super tight. So then to
Yeah.
think that you could get that extra quarter turn out of it or whatever,
Yep.
that's a lot. So how did you loosen them up then? Because that one day I thinking like we found I discovered some ancient secret about these Ivanko collars, and I was trying so hard to spin these apart and I couldn't do it. So I grabbed the other one and it goes poop, pops right apart. I'm like, oh, that was easy. Tighten it back up, and I could not loosen it again.
No, my secret was I just showed up one day and I was using them and I was like, oh, these work now.
That was it.
Yeah. So somebody else did it, I guess.
Somebody must have done it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good for them. Good for them.
Our money's on Big Jason and his giant hands.
But
He's a railroad guy.
Yeah.
And he'd have been there in the morning when nobody else is there.
These soft keyboard hands were not made for anything like that.
So you like them though, or like?
I like
them.
It's cool, and it's
not going to use it on every thing because it's a pain in the ass sometimes.
It's a lot of extra thinking, and it's just.
Oh, a good. I've downloaded Bar Calc.
So this is
like.
This is what I was going to talk about now is the calculations of this, and I did run across Bar Calc, which I heard was very good. I saw some screenshots for it.
Yeah.
But I learned a little. You know, here, do this. Let's do a little Tommy mental test here. So let's go easy on me, guys. But give me a number in kilos, and Tanner, let me tell you if I can convert that to pounds in my head.
Okay.
Don't make it too hard right now. We got to ease into this mental math thing.
240.
240. Okay. 528.
So should I check now?
Yeah, check it.
Do you have some sort of secret?
No, I think I learned a little mental trick.
529.
So we'll take that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Do you want to give me another one?
Yeah, how about 310?
Okay. 682.
683. So I'm taking it times 2.205.
Yeah, well, and
so
I'm not going to do perfect. I'm just trying to get in the ballpark.
So that's within 1 pound.
Most people would say if you said 320, would be like, eh.
So how about 167? Like, can you do it if it's
harder,
not a
It's just harder mental math. Yeah, I mean, I can. It's just harder mental math.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 370.
368. Yeah. That's pretty good, within 1 or 2 pounds every time.
Is this some sort of like witchcraft?
I've been traveling a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people from Europe.
He just does math by 2.2 in his head now all the time.
So here's the trick. It's actually very simple.
All right,
and I ran across this on a Reddit thread for someone. When I was looking up this bar calc, I was looking for an app to calculate this stuff, and they're recommending bar calc, and then someone goes, "You don't need that. There's a simple math trick." I thought, a simple math trick. Yeah, multiply by 2.2. But what you do, we'll start with 200 because it's very, very easy.
Okay.
You take it times 2. So we have that part done. So 200 times 2 is 400.
Allegedly.
And then you move the decimal point 1 spot over, which is a tenth.
40.
And then you add that onto the number you just multiplied times 2.
440.
So that's how you do it.
Wait. I have to look at it just to see here what you're talking about here. So we're going to go 200 times 2, which we obviously know is 400, and you move the decimal point over.
So 200
instead of
times 2 is 400. So that 1/10 of 400 is 40 because you moved the decimal point over 1 spot.
Yep.
So you're going to add 40 onto 400. You have 440.
Okay.
That is how many
makes
pounds
sense.
it is. 100
kilos. So let me just do this in my head. So 350, just a nice even number. That would be 700.
Yep.
And then, so it would be 770.
Yep.
No shit.
That's all there is to it. Pretty amazing, huh?
The fact that it's that easy now.
Don't you feel like, how does everyone not know that?
Here's how I know why. Because Americans we are totally the fucking worst. Because we're still like there's a trick that makes that pretty easy, and we're like, yeah, kilos are dumb. We lift in pounds, and I'm not even gonna learn it. I need an app now. Yeah. That is a tremendous fucking trick, and it makes a lot of sense. Because the 0.2 is. It's the same, you know what I mean? That's the same.
It gets you in a ballpark really easy.
So what about this, though? So we have programs and stuff when we have it all printed in pounds. So if you're like, I need to load 500 pounds. So we know the pounds.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then, like, how do you
do that in reverse?
Oh, to get,
You know what I'm saying?
You could. I mean, just take 50 off of 500.
Divide it by 2.
It would be easy. 500 minus 50 is 450. 450 divided by 2 is 225. 225 kilo.
It's 225 kilos.
So you subtract after you move
I would imagine because if you're going in reverse.
Yeah. Because that would be almost the more practical application. Is like, because we know, like, I'm supposed to squat 445.
Yeah.
So what do I need to load for the plates?
And like,
so
I'm not.
Take 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be 400. Okay.
Where I find this to be handy, though, is like when you listen to, I find the podcast they do it the most on is the Jug Life. Like they're always talking, because they talk about Olympic lifting a lot, they're always talking in kilos. And they're like, the one I was just listening to, I think today, was they were talking about how Olympic weightlifting needs to like get its act together, or they're going to potentially be banned from the next Olympics.
Yeah.
And they talk about how the women had a 89 kilo class added like a year or two ago. And it's like, is 89 big for what is it? But with that, that's what I would normally do. But now I'm just like 89. That's basically 90. 90 times 2 is 180. 180 plus 18. That's about 200 pounds. Yeah. We have about a 200-pound woman. Before, I would have just went, nah, don't know.
I'm like, it's somewhere between 160 and 300 pounds.
Yeah, and so-and-so clean and jerked 200. I mean, I guess 200. 200 is not the hardest
but
one.
When they say somewhere, it's like 196. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so
even though you know that it's close to 200, I don't even get there. I'm like, that's impossible.
Yeah, so it's like that makes, I feel like you can actually follow conversations like way better, or at least have a frame of reference.
But instead what we're going to do when people are talking about kilos is we're going to just tune out until they convert it for us.
Yeah.
But that's a great trick, Tommy. I'm
So
glad you learned something.
I kind of felt like a little
We all
maniac
learned
doing
something
that.
today.
Yeah.
And
That's literally the only thing that you
Anyone's
can
ever
learn
learned
today.
here.
Yeah, and you guys, you just wait. You'll be surprised. Remember that trick. You'll be using that more than you would think.
Not me. I have the bar cow
this
cap.
one. Well, because even
This
this
episode is brought to you by the bar cow cap. If you use the bar cow cap, you do not have to know Tommy's trick at all.
because even I think they're saying like Marissa Inda's like a 46-kilo lifter.
Yeah.
Like,
So she's tiny.
is that
It's
like
like
100
99 pounds.
Yeah, I was like, is that like 120 pounds, 130 pounds? But like, you do the math on it and you find out that that's like what 106 or something.
I still don't know. I already forgot.
I actually don't even know what 100.
Or
I don't
100-ish.
even know what a 100-pound person would look like.
Her.
Dead.
I like just in standing in a room, be like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. What is that thing?
Is that a child? So we are about wrapping up here, Tanner. What
I've
do you
got one point of clarification from last time.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Uh-oh.
We talked about Platinum Plus. I know what that means now.
Okay. Oh yeah, and the strongman
Platinum
stuff.
Plus is a strongman competition classification.
Really?
Like,
Also,
Is this like on the road to pro with
It's also,
pro?
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
also Delta's third tier.
That's
Flight
what we
rewards
talked about.
program.
Yeah. But a class 1 is, as long as there's at least 5 people in each weight classification, sex and weight classification, a class 1 will send the number 1 from each class will get sent to qualify for nationals.
Okay.
A class 2, the top 2 will qualify for nationals, and then beyond class 2 is a Platinum Plus, where the top 3 all qualify for nationals, and someone can potentially qualify for the Arnold Strongman. Not the main stage Arnold Strongman, but
yeah.
the
Like the Arnold Amateur.
the Arnold Amateur. So that's what a Platinum Plus is, and I believe, I know that's fact what I just said, and I believe that
As opposed to the other things that Tanner said.
where
usually, which is
guessing or don't
Everything
really know.
else I've ever
Like,
said.
basically like what we said
that
last
one
week
thing
was
is
all
true.
made up.
Yeah. And then I think based on which of those it is determines the level of weights that the competitors use in the competition. And the reason I know is because I did sign up for that competition that I want to say the name of it because I like the name of the competition.
Enough to remember it.
Well,
Not that much,
enough
but like
for-
it's a good name.
yeah, it's the Rushmore State Strength Classic.
Oh.
So it's a class 2, which the one Megan did was also a class 2.
Yep.
So the top 2 got sent to nationals from each class. But once I saw it was advertised as a
Hey,
class
if
2.
you do it, you should go to nationals just to do it.
Well, I would
'cause
have to get
we're
first
gonna-
or second first.
Well, yeah,
you
you
know.
should, no, but you should
No,
do that.
that is not an
though.
option.
Yeah.
You must.
You should do that though, and then you should go to nationals because we're gonna go.
It's possible, you know. I
And
said,
then-
I would have to.
Well, yeah.
Some of these things are pretty.
No, I'm saying.
Pretty- yeah.
Well, yeah, you need to win it.
Yeah, or get second,
Well,
class
No,
2.
we don't
I'd
accept
prefer-
anything less than first.
But I'm doing 265 and under, so it's a little lighter strongman corpus.
Well, but
different
there's no weight classes in the jungle though.
no weight classes in the jungle.
not in our
Tanner.
jungle,
This-
but I guess
this is the
these
wood.
clowns,
This is the woods, not the
They're
jungle.
not in the jungle with us. But the day that this comes out, I will have just finished this competition. So,
In
when is
third place.
not this weekend, but the weekend after that.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Out in Rapid or
Yeah.
nice.
Yes, Rapid City, the Black Hills of South Dakota, as covered earlier
I have.
in this episode.
If you want to celebrate and jump off a large rock, I can point you in that direction.
I am not ever. I can honestly say I will never do what you did there. Like
I don't
I
have.
would die. There's
I
like a 50% chance I would die. I'm sure of it. And if not die, I would certainly.
I feel like
hurt something.
Tanner and I, because of our just general, just overall bigness, I'm afraid of everything that requires me to move fast. Like those water slides where you go like straight down.
Yeah.
I went to the water slide at the pool that you were talking about last episode,
Yeah.
or maybe it was off air, but which one is the one you
The
do
yellow
go down?
one?
I went down the yellow one.
All heels and shoulder blades.
And
And
that
you
is-
Did it just grind them up?
That is
No.
fast.
No, if you don't have your whole body on it, you don't get chipped up too bad.
Okay.
But you just ride your heels and shoulder
Yeah,
blades.
and it spits you out, and you about flip over when you come out of the
Oh
water.
yeah, like when you're at my size, I come out of that fucking thing, and the lifeguard is at the end of it, and no joke, I watch them as I'm coming up. They're still moving away because there's so much fucking water comes flying out.
See,
with me.
I remembered your advice about the heels and thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time that I went down, I was thinking, all right, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to control how fast I go down
Yeah.
this. You know, like some slides you can like
Yeah.
sit up
Yeah.
and go slow. And I went down, and I never could never catch my breath once, and the next thing I knew, I was spat out the end of it. And I looked back up and like, man, that took like a split second.
I've gotten thrown out of that thing. Like, I'll like try to get some momentum coming into it, but the problem is it's actually not very big. So you hang onto the thing and you throw yourself in, and then by the time you bring your arms in, you're like touching both sides of the fucking tube because it's a tube slide, you know, and yeah.
When you say
get
tube,
flung-
you mean enclosed,
I mean it's
not
enclosed. Yeah,
riding
you're
a
not
tube.
on a tube, but it is it's a tunnel. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty gnarly. But no, so those those straight down like water slides where you just go and then you
come,
90-degree
like,
angle at the
completely away
bottom
from
and you
it,
can just get water up your asshole. Like I'm afraid
say
of
that like
I'm
it's a bad
afraid
thing.
of those things. Yeah, I got 2 bidets. I ain't scared of that. But like I'm afraid of those because there's that moment where you feel like you're gonna come forward.
Oh yeah, it's
and
like
then
you just put your leg out and.
but I'm like, these are not meant for 315-pound dudes. Like, there's no way that they were testing it
Yeah.
with 315-pound
yeah,
dudes.
they're like sending like 80-pound dummies down.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially with my level of top heaviness, you know, like if I get a little forward lean, I'm fucking just boom straight down on that fucking
Dead.
thing. And
Instant dead.
so I don't do them at all. Like I've done them when I was a kid, and they scared the shit out of me. And now
Well,
I'm like,
I'm quite positive your body comes like completely out of contact.
sure.
with
Yeah.
the-
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah, you
for
feel
sure.
like-
they shouldn't make those.
they
even.
can't be.
Yeah.
There's no way they should be making them.
it's just like the rules of gravity say, like usually you're gonna be okay. here.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way
Then
on.
the sidewalls of them, I feel like they're like, like make
Like
that come
laughably
up
low.
further.
Give us like 3 foot. Fucking like plastic is cheap, man. Like give me a little bit to work with here.
Like it's like a 2-inch sidewall.
I feel the same way on or on roller coasters too, where I'll get in. I've gotten in some where I'll get in and they strap the thing down,
It's like
and then and it has to get to a point where,
Where
it clicks
it starts like
Yeah.
the ratchet on
and it won't do it, and then I'm like, fuck.
Just send him.
So I get hunkered down, really get really low in the shoulders, and then the guy comes to help, and he's like gives it like 5 nudges,
And it's
then-
like some kid making
and
minimum wage and he doesn't
finally,
care.
like
It just
he's like
makes
leaning
one
totally
click.
hard, and I'm pulling, and it just goes. and then he gives the guy the thumbs up, and we go, and I'm like, wait, like how do you
that was
know?
one tiny.
Yeah.
It's only just connecting
Yeah,
on the
there's
first
no-
slap.
nothing
Yeah.
else to catch it.
Yeah.
In case
And
that one goes.
I'm like, dude, do you think we can get one more? You think we can get one more out of this thing? And then you just fucking go, and the whole time I'm thinking, all I think of is because of my size when I do those like roller coasters. Is
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I'm going to actually fucking die. That I'm gonna get thrown out of the thing. We're gonna have an equipment failure, which is like the thrill and fun of a roller coaster is gone. Because
Well,
because
but
you
isn't that
actually
what the
think you
thrill
are
is all
going to
about?
die.
Not
no,
knowing
the
if you're
thrill
gonna
is supposed to
survive?
be you're safe, you're moving fast, it's wild. Look at how you're going, and I'm like hanging on to where like so when this thing flips out, do I have the grip strength to hold my entire body?
That's what I think
While
about
I'm,
too.
while I'm
Like,
upside down
you're
going
like
70 miles an hour.
white-knuckled on the
I've
thing.
actually done it where I'm like I'll get in and I'll like hook grip the fucking handle, and I'm like just in case
Do you
it catches
chalk
me
up?
off
Do you
guard.
chalk up before you do it
I
too?
should get some tack.
tacky. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about such things. So Tanner, we are about out of time. But do we have any reviews? Or let's not break
no.
it. We have 15 reviews, and we'll get to them next week. But you should definitely leave us some also.
Yeah, we need some reviews coming. You guys were doing a good job for a while, and not anymore. You suck again.
More
so-
of you are listening.
Yeah.
Lots more.
Yeah, so
it's
please
cool
leave
for
a
that.
review.
But we'll give you the quick rundown here. What we got to have you do. So first, if you want to support the podcast, leave us a review on iTunes or what is it called now? Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts.
Also,
You'll find us next to other great podcasts like S-Town.
yeah, probably right. If you go to S-Town in the also listen to, it would be us probably right away.
Well, for some people,
And
yes,
then
it is
cereal.
absolutely.
And then, but no, if you also want to help us, be able to keep the podcast afloat and do cool things, make sure you go to Massenomics.com, click on the store. There you're going to find cool stuff such as this super cool hat that you can't hear. So hopefully,
cool hat.
Hopefully you're watching it on
Trust
YouTube.
it. Oh, it's cool.
It's the coolest. But no,
it's
you'll
really
find the
cool.
Weekend Warrior hats in many colors and styles. You're also going to find the Weekend Warrior shirt and all our traditional Massenomics gear. You guys got a couple of, you got the heathered red and the traditional red Massenomics shirt.
Tanner
I got
got the
get this.
extra.
You
Tanner
can't
has the
can't get that
the OG.
This is the first ever, and it even has holes in it.
nice.
You can't get them. People make shirts that are weathered like this.
Yeah.
Now, this
Instead, Tanner's weird nipple placement got a hold of that one.
My nipple
third
rings
nipple,
caught it.
yeah.
But no, so that's how we kind of keep things moving along here. So buy some shirts, buy some hats. That keeps us afloat. Also, while you're there, you're going to find all our other articles, videos, and such. Make sure you like us on Facebook. We usually, anytime we post a new article, we'll make sure we link to it there. We'll keep you in the loop on everything. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. That's the last thing we got to cover is Instagram. Did I miss anything?
Also, make sure most of you are not subscribed on YouTube. So
Yes.
subscribe on YouTube.
YouTube.com/Massenomics, or just search for Massenomics and subscribe.
And you can see that hat that Tyler's talking about when he takes it off.
If you listen to the podcast but have never tried watching before, give it a try. I think you might enjoy the experience.
Or maybe your dreams will be crushed when you realize what we look like.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I figured they were ugly, but like that.
I didn't think they were that.
How is YouTube not suspended this channel?
They sound ugly, but they
don't sound
look
that
they look
ugly.
fucking really ugly.
Yeah,
So,
don't watch that. I guess.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. Yeah, we have other things out there. So subscribe to us on YouTube, and then but you can follow all of us on Instagram. I'm Tyler. You can follow me at Tyler F. Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone. And Tommy?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
Make sure you check out Tommy's ridiculous cliff jumping videos. That's where it's at.
It's in there.
And Tanner?
The official Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics.
Righteous. So that has us covered for today. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week, and stay strong.
See ya.
Bring the heat.
Get swifty.
Locked and loaded.
Go.
You just heard the Massenomics Podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.